process, heartbeat comes down, and your mind frequency also reduces, the power of the mind increases. That is the main reason behind it. Every program starts with a meditation. Our guru also mentioned that the material objects, we feel the material objects through 5 senses. Our mental frequency functions speedily while feeling the objects through organs. But in the speedy state, we cannot understand the astute things. In order to understand the astute things, our mental frequency should be reduced. So what are astute things? You might be known that. So astute things are the omniscient, omnipotent divine state. What is omniscient, omnipotent? Infinite, unlimited, supreme power. This is transformed into basic energy particles, Paramanu. Again, the biomagnetism evolved from this takes various forms: pressure, sound, light, taste, smell, and wave function of mind. All these are astute things. Astute things can be felt, experienced, but we cannot show it visibly with the human eyes. We cannot exemplify the astute things to sensory perceptions. That doesn't mean that we cannot refute that these things do not exist. Our guru says meditation helps to reduce our mind frequency. So with the low mental frequency, we can understand this astute things. Another golden time, which also helps to reduce the mental frequency to understand these astute things. Which is the golden time? That's what my today topic. Thomas Carlyle says, speech is silver and silence is golden. The Vedatrium followers who experience the benefits of silence will definitely agree with this statement. So what does silence mean? Is it desisting from speaking or verbal expression? Or is it desisting from the actions of jnanendriyas and karmendriyas? Or something beyond both? How do we classify the types of silence in general? We classify it into 3 types: silence in words, in Tamil we say Vaku Maunam, silence of action, Karavi Maunam, and the third one is the Maga Maunam. That is the one we mainly focus in our system. For Maha Maunam, the preparative work is the silence in words and silence of action. Including that, we have to be silent from wandering of mind. That is, keeping ourselves away from unwanted negative thoughts. Silence in words. When are we desisting from speaking? In our daily routine of life, we desist from speaking, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. For example, if you are fighting with your loved ones, sometimes you stop talking with each other. Maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours, sometimes it will go more than 1 day or 2 days, depends on the severity of fight. Like the same way, when during extreme sorrow, if you are losing your beloved ones or a failure of something, during that time, you will be in silence. Then when you are meeting your loved ones after long years, your eyes are filled with tears and you will be silent in words. These are things you will do unintentionally. It happens. But sometimes intentionally, if you want to finish a particular task, suppose you want to submit an official report for 5 o'clock evening, what will you do? You will be closing your doors. You don't want to be disturbed by anyone. You switch off your mobile phone as well as mute your WhatsApp notification and everything. So if you are focusing more on the work without diverting your mind and body, you keep silence in words. But all these situations, verbal expression will be there, your hands will be writing and so on. These are in words. What about silence in action? You know well about jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. We try to give some rest to a certain extent for our jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. The third one is our main thing we focus on here, that is Maha Maunam. Here we are silence in words, actions, as well as awareness of our mind. In our daily busy life, in order to purify in order to get the spiritual purity, we have to allocate some time to be silent, to introspect ourselves, as well as to purify and cleansing our mind. So for that, either we can be away from family, money, and business. You can do silence in home also, but due to your imprints, your family members are not allowing you to make it. You can just keep away from these factors to keep silence. This is some Maha-Maunam or silence. It doesn't mean that controlling of mind. It's just awareness of mind. That's what our Guru says. If you're controlling your mind, it will be running here and there. But if you try to analyze it, it will come under your control by default. As per Vedatriyam, silence is a journey of consciousness towards the unified force. Have you seen the nature, that is blooming of a flower or saplings in your garden? In your early morning time, you might be enjoyed with the blooming of the flower or saplings from the seeds you sown on last week, isn't it? But at any one of you have ever captured the moment when the flower bud opens its petals gradually to bloom, or which is the exact moment the saplings coming out of the soil? Have you ever captured? You might not be, because these are the silent creations of nature. It happens in silence. But if you see a tree is broken, it will be broken with huge noise, which was noticeable. We are also the creation of God. We can purify and cleanse our mind with purified divine thoughts in silence. Whatever we are doing, any important task, though we don't see what is inside our mind, we are silent in thoughts, we don't bother about it, but we don't want our outside environment to disturb us. We will be getting easily irritated. Sometimes you are connecting with a call to your boss, it is an official call. That time your child is disturbing you. How will you react? Shh, don't shout, because I could not hear the voice of my boss. Like the same way, in order to hear the voice of our Supreme Boss, Almighty, we have to be silent from negative thoughts. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. If you want to keep in silence, you sit it quietly in one place. You simply watch your thoughts. Don't do anything. Because the mind is not either you or me. It is God. Connect with the God. Just watching your thoughts by simply sitting. So what will happen? After some time, the speed of the thoughts will be reduced. By gradually, it will come under your control. You might be surprised. How can we control our thoughts? Simply by doing nothing. Yeah, obviously, it is true. How? To make it simple to understand, for example, again, I go for the same example. Suppose you are fighting with your loved one, and the fighting keeps going. It happens in every one of our house. So if during the fight, you may be recalling the events happened last year, before year, 10 years or 20 years back also. So for every word of the partner, you are reacting. So the fight is prolonging. So after several experience, or if any one of them is following our SKY program, then they decided, why I have to waste my time and energy in fighting? I no need to react. You simply keep quiet. What will happen? Your wife, who is shouting for 60 minutes, may reduce to 30 minutes. After some time, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. At one stage, she will stop fighting, because she will be thinking he is very passive. Like a wall or rock, hitting to a rock is waste of time. So she will stop fighting. Like the same, if a child fell down, you go and convince the child, oh darling, what happened? He will keep on crying more and more. Same time, an unnoticed child who fell down, she will get up herself and convince and go to focus on other play. Like the same way, the thoughts are running here and there in an immature way, childish way. It is running around in our mind. Suppose we ignore the thoughts, we don't react to those thoughts, what will happen? They are getting tired. They will reduce the speed gradually. It will not happen immediately, but it takes some time. Then gradually it reduces the speed and it will come under your control. That's what he means. Even after experiencing the benefits of silence, Mahatma Gandhi, he decided to be in silence at least one day per week, before tasking any important task. Our Guru Maharishi has written a Tamil poem about silence. I try as much possible to highlight the meaning in English. That is, unless otherwise, the transformation of Vedanta to Siddhanta happens. We cannot reach salvation just by simple empty talking, meaningless talking. So in that case, we just pass our days without understanding the purpose of life. So when he's talking about Vedanta Siddhanta, I try to tell few words about Vedanta Siddhanta. You might be known, just a recap. Vedanta means who has the complete knowledge about Vedas. They reached the perfection and higher understanding state of reading or learning the Vedas. That is a beginning stage of Siddhanta. But Siddhanta, who has already read all the concepts through books, hearing speeches, not only that, they are practicing and realizing and experiencing every day by mere practice of meditation. Our Guru says this transformation happens if we follow the art of mind enrichment, our simplified Kundalini Yoga program. It makes it easy for you to transform from Vedanta to Siddhanta. Otherwise, just by simple talking, no use of simple talking. He also mentions that if suppose you are talking, you may have a reason, you may have a purpose. Sometimes without a purpose or reason also, you will talk. For example, if you are calling a friend and talking for hours together, after that, finally you will say, there is nothing urgent or important. Simply, I called you just for talking. So for talking, you may have reason or you may not have a reason or purpose. But for being silent, you have a purpose. What is the purpose? To know the secrets of the nature, to know to move towards the journey of consciousness towards the unified force. Our Guru also says that when we are doing silence at certain stage, we can merge with that. When we are reducing our mind frequency, purifying our mind for longer trials, we can merge with the oneness. So after merging with the oneness, we will understand that the same is transferred as me, you, everyone around us, and everything around us. So when you get that transformation, your mind elevates into higher state. This will not happen by reading books or hearing the preaching of others, only by doing regular practice of meditation, and also by eradicating your ego. That will help to merge with the oneness. How will you eradicate your ego? If you merge with the oneness, you will know that you are the functional state of the divine. So obviously, you will reduce your ego. So in our daily life, you may think we are the functional state of the divine. Why do we have all negative thoughts, painful experiences? Because we are the functional state of divine. So we should have always good thoughts. Why do we have all bad thoughts, painful experiences we come across in our life? You know very well, we are the human beings having sixth sense. We are inherited from our parents, and they are inherited from their parents, grandparents. It keeps going as a chain process till to the second sensory living beings. Here, why I mean the second sensory living beings? Because our imprints started to store in our genetic center from the second sensory living beings. If you have seen the animals, for example, the stronger one is killing the weaker one for food. Aren't we imitating the same character in our life? If you see in office, if you suppose your boss is wrong in doing some project or report, you got angry, but will you show your anger to your boss? You think he is stronger than you, maybe by means of power or position. So you will not show the anger. After coming home, you show the anger, suppressed anger will be shown to your wife because you think she is dependent on you and she is weaker than you. What she will do? She will show the same anger to your children as she thinks they are weaker than her. So this is a hereditary character of animals, and also fighting for food, and fighting for money. Everything are the inherited characters. Sometimes we will They used to tell, don't fight like a monkey or don't shout like a dog. All these are the animal imprints we inherited from the animals, as well as lot of characters we inherited from the generations, which all stored in our Sanjita Karma. Due to that, we are getting plenty of thoughts. So when we have the awareness for the root cause of all our bad thoughts and bad deeds, painful experiences, we can be more careful about the present for doing negative things in our life. While talking about the bad thoughts, I remember to tell this story. That is, you might be heard about it. Once upon a time, there was a king who was traveling in a chariot. It was a severe winter season. That time, one beggar was walking in the roadside. So at that time, he was carrying a luggage of bag on his head. He was shivering with cold. So the king was so kind and asked him, why are you suffering with the cold? You please get into my chariot. The beggar was excited and surprised about the kindness of the king. And he was looking the chariot. It was very neat and beautiful. Then he looked at himself. He was very dirty and ugly. So he hesitated to get into it, but he could not refuse the order of the king. So he got into the seat. After traveling for hours, the king noticed the beggar. He was still carrying the bag on his head. So the king asked him, why are you carrying the bag on your head? You just keep aside. So that time the beggar replied, Majesty, the chariot is carrying my weight. If I put my bag down, it has to carry the weight of the bag too. It is too much burden for the chariot. So let me carry the weight of my bag myself. After seeing the immaturity or ignorance of the beggar, the king was laughing himself. Dear all, have you noticed one thing? Are we doing the same thing like the beggar by carrying all our painful experiences in our life? Sometimes the highness, the supreme power is giving many opportunities to keep away the painful experiences. But without knowing that, aren't we holding all experiences as a garbage in our heart? Even while watching a movie in the TV channel, suppose it is a super good movie, enjoyed the movie. The next day, the same movie is telecasted in another channel. Will you watch it? Maybe some of you may happen to watch it because you like the movie very much. But if the same movie is repeated or telecasted in other different channels for the entire week, will you watch it third day, fourth day, or fifth day again and again? Though it is your favorite movie, you don't want to see it several times because the same duet, same fight, same climax. What is that to watch again and again? You felt it was boring. Since though it is our favorite, you don't do it. But you are telling all these experiences, they did invite me for some function, they insulted, they ignored, I don't get promotion, my child is not studying well, this, that, all those painful thoughts, we are several times rewinding in our, not only 1 week, so many years we are rewinding in our mind. You might have noticed the lotus flower. The speciality of the lotus flower, it is growing among the muddy waters. It is spotless. If you see the lotus leaf, it has a special effect. That is some polar wax structure and rough structure for the lotus leaf. So what happens? So you splash so much water on the lotus leaf, all the water droplets carry the dirty particles on the lotus leaf and make it clean. And also the leaf is not wetting. Scientists say this is the lotus effect. So what does the lotus effect do? It helps the lotus leaf to protect from harmful bacteria. Like the same way, we have to learn from the nature. We have to be undisturbed. Whatever issues or painful experiences happens around us, we have no control on it. Due to imprints only, we are getting all these things. So we have to come across, but how to say, we can feel the pain. We have to accept the pain. If accept the pain only, our karma will be subtracted from our genetic center. But at the same time, don't stick on to that painful experience and don't suffer. Feel the pain, but don't suffer. We have to be disturbed from these things in order to keep our mind peaceful. When while silence or some normal days, you come across so many thoughts, but you should be very much careful about the bad thought. If a bad thought, if you allow it inside, what will happen? Sometimes some unwanted guest coming to your house, you show unwelcome face, what will happen? They will go away. They never want to come back next time to your house. But it is not the case of bad thought. Once you allow the bad thought inside your mind, how much ever effort do you put to push away the thought again and again, it will come back again and again. Why is it happen? Because you are attached too much to the thought time you push away. That is why it is coming back again and again. So it should be very careful. From the beginning itself, we have to uproot such thought. So when you are doing silence, these are the 3 stages. You have to do silence, in between you have to do meditation, and after that you have to do introspection. If you do all these things together, then only you get the entire benefits of silence. Silence, we are giving rest to the body, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to certain extent, and also we are watching our thoughts. We are some thoughts will be repeatedly coming, you know, whether it is a good thought or bad thought, everything you get awareness. And meditation also, it is helping you to increase the power of your mind. So both these things will decrease your mental frequency. So this also helps to understand the astute things our guru says. So in introspection, what will you do? You do thought analysis, neutralization of anger, eradication of worries, and everything you moralization of 6 temperaments, everything you do. So in thought analysis, what are the 2 possibilities? What are the 2 thoughts you are getting? Either it is a good thought or bad thought. What is good thought? The thought which is not harming yourself and others, either today or tomorrow. Bad thought is the reverse one. So which is harming either you or others today or tomorrow. So while doing thought analysis, we have to discard all the negative thoughts and we have to retain the good thought, and later you can execute it by using the proper method to succeed. And why he says the thoughts, while allowing the negative thoughts, you should be very careful. Sometimes you may think this is just a thought only, I'm not going to do any action. What is there? Maybe you, by fearing the consequences, you may not execute it. But sometimes while we sleep from the awakened stage, the thought will be automatically executed. It will reach the mind of the people with a similar class and it will be executed. So by knowing the power of the thought, you should be very careful. To make it simple to understand, I go back to an example. That is, suppose you want to go to your shop and buy a Horlicks bottle. You go to this shop, you pick the Horlicks bottle. With the Horlicks bottle, there are so many items. What are the items available in the Lulu store? Every item will be visible to your eyes. There may be a Bonvita, Boost, or tea powder, or soap powder, snacks packet, etc., etc. So you may think, I have to pick the Horlicks bottle. Why all these 100 items are visible to my eyes? I am getting irritated. These items I don't want to see. If you think in that way, that is an immature way of thinking that is against the law of nature. These things will be visible to you. You have to see all these things. That is the law of karma, law of cause and effect. But what you have to do, you should not forget your purpose of picking the Horlicks bottle alone. Suppose you are disturbed or distracted by these other items, what will happen? You will be attracted by the offers and go behind it and buy Bonvita, Boost, tea powder, either it is needed or not, without thinking anything, you buy everything. And store in your kitchen cabinet, it will be a garbage. You may not use it for a long time. After expiry date or while cleaning, you will throw it away. Sometimes while cleaning also, you will not be willing to throw it away because you put a lot of money on it. Anyway, these are material things. You can, while cleaning, you can throw it out. What about our thoughts? Too many painful experiences like the beggar, you keep holding with us after expiry date. I mean, those past is over. We cannot do anything more than that with that. We know that very well, but still why we have to carry all those things in our mind. If we do like that, we forget the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? We have to remove all our imprints. If we forget and allow all these things, before our expiry, we cannot remove our imprints. So the purpose is only after removing all imprints only, we can go back to the divine state. So that is what our Guru is telling. Sometimes you feel very nasty, you don't want to do anything, you feel boring, you don't want to work or do anything. And some other time you feel too good. So the mind control will be by doing meditation. Instead of going outward environment, outward, you try to go inward towards the journey of consciousness, towards the static force. If you are focusing the journey, will happen at one stage, you can self-realization and the transformation via the functional state of divine. If we get, because human beings, if you see, they are the special one who are having the sixth sense thinking capability as well as the consciousness about the divinity. So we only can understand mind, stabilize mind, and we can service other people lot more of good things which other living beings cannot do. Our Guru says about in one Tamil poem about how to convert the habit into explanatory habits, the habit of imprints into explanatory form. That is, he is saying, whenever you are doing silence, so many thoughts and imprints will be doing a battle with you because due to your imprints and make you to speak and break your silence. That is what, while doing silence, you get a lot of disturbance from others or in your thoughts. But if you try to understand the fact that silence is the golden opportunity or golden time, which creates a bondage between you and the nature, then you can win over all these thoughts and imprints. If we know that, if you realize that, you know, silence is not simply by
blessed by divine.
Waves are waves. If it is reducing its speed at one time, the waves are stopped, then it will become water. So waves are like our mind. It is a functioning state. Divine state is the static state. That's what he is telling in some poem about the darkness and light. Darkness is the static state of divine, and light is the functional state of divine. And likewise, he is talking about the sound. Suppose I am clapping my hand, some sound is coming. Where it is coming from? It has to be somewhere to come from. After clapping, the sound disappears too. Where it is coming from? The same place it is disappearing to. Beautifully in a Tamil poem. So like the same way, we come from the source, from the where we come from, the same place we have to go back. Our life journey is like a circle. So when you start to draw a circle, from which place you start, the same point you have to reach, then only to get a proper circle of journey. So if we have to complete our journey, before completing our journey, we have to remove all our negative karma. If we don't do it before our last date, what will happen? We have to take birth again and again. So the reaching the destination will be delayed. So he is saying, by regular practicing of our Kundalini yoga and meditation, you try to remove as much imprints as possible in your lifetime. That was the beginning I mentioned about the formless remains. When form is removed, silence rules. When sound is removed, darkness reigns in the absence of light, and static remains when movement ceases. That's what this explains. Again, when you are doing meditation and silence, normally in emotional state or normally, your mind frequency is in the beta state. While doing the silence or meditation, it moves, transform from beta to alpha, theta, delta frequencies. Like today, Durya Theta meditation, we reach below between 1 to 3 delta frequency. So if we are moving to this frequency, what will happen? Some magic will happen in our mind. What are all the brain cells which are not activated and not used? Because day-to-day life, we are not using all part of the brain cells for completing the task. Any one part will be active, some other part will be not active. But while doing these things, all the brain cells will begin to function. That is the speciality of silence. You may have a doubt whether how many periods of silence we can make. This is purely depends on our convenience. We can do for 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 15 days, 2 days, 1 day, or even 1 hour a day. Muthu sir says sometimes it is not possible. You can try to be silent at least for 30 minutes or 50 minutes. Still, even if some of you say, I don't even have a time to do meditation, silence for 15 minutes or 1 hour also, in that case, our guru says it's okay. But if any unpleasant things happen, or any unexpected things happen, somebody shouting at you, somebody is showing some unpleasant, these things happens all the times, you don't show your anger, don't waste your energy, you just keep silent. That is enough. That's what our guru says. And where is the place you can keep silence? He's telling you can do it in your home. But suppose if it is a large joint family, all family members will be watching you. You are not doing silence every day. They don't know about Vedatriyam. In that case, if you are doing silence for 1 day, then they will think he is okay. What happened today? He is doing something different. So they will be interested to disturb you. Why? Because of your lot of imprints. They tempted to disturb you. If you feel those surrounding factors disturb you, you want to do it in a peaceful situation, you can always go to temple of consciousness. And how much time you want to make the silence period, you can do it. The options are there, he is telling. And after doing silence, suppose you go to a temple of consciousness for doing silence, after doing, you return home. Many of you may ask, where did you go? What was the silence? What was the benefits? Why are you doing? So many questions. Those who are not following Vedatriyam supposed to ask you, then you say, there are so many things to learn. If I have no time to explain you, even if I explain you, you have not enough knowledge to understand. If this is the way of replying, then what is the use of doing Mauna? That's what he says. Don't look at the quantity of how many days you do silence. So look at the quality of benefits you gained from silence. Don't go behind statistics. And after getting some benefits, are you using it in your daily life? Are you applying it? That is more important. Any theory will be useful only if it makes you implement it into practical way of life. And suppose in silence, I say our guru says in between meditation and introspection to complete the task. So for example, in doing introspection, you will see what are the thoughts you watched during silence. Some repeated thought will be coming. And the repeated thought may be a good thought, it is fine. You can wait for some time to implement it. What about bad thought? For example, you think your life partner is not a good match for you, just for example. If you think in that way, is it a good thought? Why you think in that way? Because ego. You think yourself, you are smarter. I deserve much more than this partner. Haven't we used to say this to friends? See, I deserve much more than this. We use this statement normally. Why we do this? By having ego or superiority complex or comparing with the life partners of others. This is a bad thought. We have to uproot it at the beginning. If we don't uproot it, what will happen? Our culture, 1-to-1, now so many 1-to-many, and so many divorces. All this happens because due to this one bad thought. If we have to be aware of this thing, to avoid such thought, we have to replace this good thought strongly with a good thought satisfaction. Instead of seeing the shortcomings of your wife, negatives of your wife, you try to see all the positives of your wife, and then you can replace your negative thought with positive thought. This is not only to this example, even for getting promotion. Some of your friend is getting promotion, you don't get, you say, I am much more smarter than him. I am deserved for this, but why he's getting? If you get such negative thought, you go behind all unwanted activities. That's what our guru says. For every negative thought you are getting, you have to, before executing it, you have to check the past experiences, present circumstances, as well as the future result. Either it is harming me or others today or tomorrow. Every time, if you have that consciousness, you will not slip from, and you will not be going behind the sinful activities, behind illusion. So he says, suppose if you are having what are the thoughts we are getting during silence? Our guru says 6 temperaments. What are the 6 temperaments? You know, greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sexual passion, as well as vanity, vengeance. So we have to moralize all these things: greed by fulfilled mind, anger by tolerance, miserliness as charity, immoral sexual passion as chastity, vanity as equality, vengeance as forgiveness. He says, suppose for example, you just assume during silence you get 6 temperaments, 6 thoughts. Each thought related to one temperament, one thought related to greed, one thought related to anger. Like that, you have 6 thoughts, come across 6 thoughts. As per our guru statement, each thought should be replaced. Like greed should be replaced by fulfillment. Like that, each thought should be, each 6 thought, 6 temperament, 6 thoughts related to 6 temperament should be moralized with 6 good thoughts. You are doing this. If you are doing silence for this month, you take some 6, you will be having list of thoughts. First 6 thoughts related to 6 temperaments you take. You replace it with good thoughts. When you do silence for the next time, you take another 6 thoughts and replace it with good thoughts. Like this way, gradually you try to replace each list of bad thoughts with good thoughts. At one stage, at least you will purify your mind to a certain extent in your lifetime. That depends on how much you remove your imprints, depends on your try and effort, how many times you do. This is the way of purifying and cleansing our mind to silence as well as introspection. There are several benefits listed for here. Only few I have listed due to time constraint. So when you do silence, your mental frequency is reduced, the power of the mind increases, your heartbeat reduces. So because of that, in emotional state, you will not make any good decision. So when you are in our mind frequency is reduced, that time whatever decision you can make quick decision. Somebody is taking work to complete for 2 hours, you can finish it within 30 minutes, or you can streamline and disciplining your mind. It will give purity to harmony to your life. You can tackle any problems, understand the secret of the universe. Our biomagnetism also increased. This will provide all possibilities to how to achieve salvation. To make it simple to understand, here I mentioned few examples. For example, you are hitting the ground strong with a ball. How much force you hit, the same force it bounces back, isn't it? Like the same way in silence, if you are giving pressure to your genetic center with the purified divine thoughts, it will be recorded and stored in the genetic center. After some time, in normal situations, these stored thoughts will be reflected, and it will help you either in decision making or time management for any other problems to solve. It will give the knowledge and strength to the soul. And also secrets of divinity. You might be known the process how to dig and get the treasure. So what we are doing, we are digging the ground. First, the surface sand is coming out. After that, what are all the unwanted buried things we buried on the soil, it will come out. It may be can, tin, bottle, or some other rock, all other things will come out. If you digging deeply and go inside, after several days or several times trying, you will get the treasure, diamond or some other minerals, whatever you want to get the treasure, you can get after several days, several times you tried, you get that. Like the same way, when you are doing silence at the beginning, you have plenty of thoughts. First, you do silence, all the thoughts stored in the surface, that is conscious mind. Those thoughts will be coming out. When you do silence more and more, then the thought waves in the subconscious mind will be coming out. Then you go very deep, traveling inside. then you will reach the conscious mind, the thought wave. Those thoughts are divine purified thoughts. Those thoughts will be coming up. That's what those thoughts, if you are getting the divine thoughts, obviously you know all the secrets of nature. That is what secret of divinity will be known through silence. If you are doing 1 or 2 times, we don't get this experience. Our Guru has done several times for longer periods silence, and so that's why only he realized all benefits and he was listing all benefits to us. See, in order to understand it more deeply, we have to do more silence and more experience, because all these things what we hear are theoretical knowledge. When we apply it in our daily life, then only how many benefits are true you might know by yourself. And also, Albert Einstein says, ego is won by knowledge. Denominator is less, the value will be more. Here, more the knowledge, lesser the ego, lesser the knowledge, more the ego. If you have more consciousness about the divinity, you will not have ego. If you have less consciousness about the divinity, you will say, I have done this, I have achieved this. Why happened to me? I, everywhere I. Why? Because we have lack of consciousness about the divinity. And we will go behind all sinful activities, behind illusion. Have you seen the magnified glass? The magnified glass, if you keep it on the sunlight, it will be receiving the sunlight and reflecting the sunlight, refracting. And then if suppose you keep any object behind it, it has the power to burn the object also. Like the same way, if you are doing silence, our biomagnetism will be energized. At one stage, we are connecting with the universal magnetism, and you get some divine thoughts also. So biomagnetism is increased. We have the power to throw away our negative thoughts. Just like how it is getting the energy to burn the object, we can also get more power, because due to the divine thoughts, we will get more power to throw away our negative thoughts. Even if you see the planetary function, it is rotating around the sun. There is in between, in order to clashing with each other, they are rotating on the right place without clashing each other due to mutual gravitation. Likewise, if you are increasing our biomagnetism around our life center, the biomagnetism, the waves, the mind is rotating around us. The irregulative thoughts will be regularized at one stage if our biomagnetism is increased. You may have a doubt. In sleep also we are silent. Why don't we sleep instead of keeping silent? So we can get all the benefits of silence. Beginning, now you are following very deeply Vedatriyam. So who are the beginners or who don't know about Vedatriyam may think like that. So actually in sleep, we are connected with the divinity in a sleepy state. But in silence, we are connected with the divinity in the awakened state. But here, in both places, we get peace of mind to a certain extent. But in sleep, our consciousness is not developed. But in silence, our consciousness is developed. That is the difference between these two. So our Guru also says, if you are doing silence very deeply, at one stage you are connected with the universal magnetism, and all the thought waves of saints and spiritual legends are recorded in the universal magnetism. So if you are reaching to that stage, if the similar frequency is matching, their thoughts and ideas will be coming as your thoughts and ideas. He was saying this due to his personal experience. He was many times connected with the Saint Vallala. So he is a spiritual legend. So he was many times he was connecting with the spiritual giant. So because of that, after that connection, he has written a lot of poems and books. All those things got popular demand from people. Our Guru has given a lot of things about silence. So I have just given very short here. He has written in one Tamil poem, and he mentioned about the greatness of silence. I try to translate as much possible. Greatness of silence, I could not explain it in words. It is not limited to words, wordless. The foundation of consciousness is silence. It is very expanded, infinite, unlimited, limitless, or boundless, or timeless. So the consciousness born out of silence will help to remove our Sanjita karma, Prartha karma, and Ahamya karma. So whenever, without forgetting the static state of the divinity, Silence is the static state of divinity. If without forgetting the static state, if you're duty conscious, then you can achieve bliss, satisfaction, success, and harmony in your life. Lot of poems were written about Maunam in Tamil, but I don't know how to translate it in English. That's why I mentioned one or two here. This is my first opportunity in this session. I have learned all these concepts in Tamil. I try to translate it as much as possible. I hope I have tried to convey 50% what I wanted. Thank you for the opportunity. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by divine. Thank you, Elavarasi Anandaraja ma'am. I don't believe this is your first English session. It was a wonderful takeoff and a smooth landing like a plane on your topic. I really personally enjoyed. I trust everyone also enjoyed this one. And with the simple stories and a practical example, same like our Muthu, you have given a super lecture about the golden times. And a great thanks and to our Guruji for giving these wonderful practices to our society and human. Be blessed by divine. And we will move on to the next session, the industry section. Still we have 15 minutes. And also we are connected with Muthu sir, who is very busy now from India. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands. I will unmute it. We have Muthu sir and Elavarasi ma'am also, and we can hope we can help you to clarify. Muthu sir, be blessed by divine sir. You have any words, few words, sir?
Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. Be blessed by the divine. Morning to every one of you. Yeah, Elavarasi, I know that she's a great, excellent speaker. Very good, commanding voice skills. And but in Vedantriyam, yes, really yes, very depth and covered all the key